Hello and welcome to Talk Like a Game, and tonight is the preview of Liverpool against West Ham United in the fourth round of the FA Cup. I'm Gio from Harris Chat. I've got Gonzo and Scott with me as well, and I'm going to be asking them, is the FA Cup our priority and what does Bilic have to do to defeat Liverpool? Before we get stuck into that, we'll be back on Saturday night at half time when we'll be doing a live show discussing the first 45 minutes. Scott, let's start with yourself. It wasn't long ago me and Gonzo were doing a preview of Liverpool against West Ham, so let's get your opinions on Liverpool. Scott, what's your thoughts on the red half of Merseyside?
A great club, got a great history, but at the moment they're poor and they're there for the taking.
Gonzo, they conceded 4 against Norwich at the weekend. Do you think that's going to affect how Klopp sets up against West Ham? And do you see that as the massive weakness in Liverpool?
It's a weakness, but I don't think it's going to affect how he sets up. He's clearly a man that's got the courage of his convictions. I think he will go with his game plan. He will set up in the Klopp way, and I think he'll go for it, and they'll be shaky at the back as a result.
Scott, they're doing quite poor in the table. We're doing okay, but do you think this competition should be the number one priority for both clubs?
I think so. We're safe. They're safe. And it's a chance to get silverware. It's a chance to relieve some of that pressure for them, to get to Wembley and compete. And for us, my expectations have been blown out of the water for this season. Just to have a cup run would be fantastic, and if we could get to a final, all the merrier.
Would you be disappointed if we went out at this round, Scott, or would you say, right, okay, it was Liverpool at Anfield, it's an acceptable team to put you out at the cup, if you like?
As long as we gave it a go, I'd be upset if we put a weakened side out for any of it, and I think that we could have really gone for it. That'd upset me.
Yeah, well, we'll find out what you think Bilic should do in a wee minute. Gonzo, 2 new managers in the league. Are you glad we have Bilic? We were in for Klopp in the summer. Klopp didn't fancy the move for whatever reason. We ended up with Bilic. In hindsight now, do you think, cheers Klopp, you've actually done us a favour?
Yeah, and it is massively in hindsight, because if you'd have asked me at the start of the season, I would have said Klopp, every day of the week, really. I think the thing is with Klopp, he has a style of play, and we've said this before at Dortmund, and he needs fast, pacey players, and they just seem to have an abundance of number 10s. I think he might be buying another one, to share, or whatever his name is, another number 10. So I think he has a style of play. So I don't think we're seeing the best of Klopp, but yeah, Bilic understands the club, and he's a brave manager as well, and it was the right choice.
What's your thoughts on that, Scott? Are you glad we've got Bilic, or were you like Gonzo in the summer? Would you have preferred Klopp?
Well, you sort of, his reputation comes with him, and he plays attractive football. It's all about attack. But I'm happy with what we've got. Like I said, the squad that Bilic has got and what he's done with it, I'm more than happy this season.
Well, let's talk about squads for a quick second, Scott. In the preview of the last game, me and Gonzo spoke about it. We didn't really fancy many Liverpool players. Scott, on both sides, fully fit. Is there any Liverpool players you would put into a West Ham starting 11?
Well, you asked me this. You've asked me this before. Nah. This Liverpool squad are poor as far as I wouldn't take none of them. I look at what we've got and I look at what they've got, and who would get in? Nobody. But I would take a punt of a guy that they haven't got with them at the moment. On if Mario could behave himself, I'd take a punt on him up front.
You would take a punt on Balotelli?
Oh yeah, I mean I said it when he was up for it. If he can behave himself and he can find that form that he did at City, and even the form that he finds for Italy, I think he's an exciting player. He's just a kid, and he needs somebody. And I think we've got the manager to be able to get hold of him and say, listen, you're going to have lots of years where you're going to be retired, and you're going to look back on this and really regret it. Now get your head down and start playing. And I think he'd do a job for us.
Well, that's an interesting view, and we're not sure if we'll agree with you there, but interesting what others say. Before we talk about West Ham, another West Ham side, West Ham ladies are in action on Sunday. They're at home to Tottenham at Hornchurch, so do pop along if you're free. Hammer's Chat are making a programme for it, and there's also quite a lot of news coming out of West Ham ladies, so do stay tuned for that, and we'll be telling you as we can. Gonzo, when we did the last FA Cup game, you said you would prefer a 4th spot over an FA Cup final. Not an FA Cup win, but an FA Cup final. I'm going by what I thought, but Wolves, did the FA Cup fever take over you, and has your opinions now changed?
No. It's still the same. I'll take an FA Cup win above everything else. But if it was a case of just a day out, then I'll go for the league position. That's absolutely fine. I think we're better than just a day out. We can beat any team in the country, and we've proven that. Okay, so I think, you know, FA Cup fever or whatever. I just think this is our season. This is our year. And I wasn't even remotely concerned when we drew Liverpool, because I thought, you know what, we can go and beat these guys. We've beaten them twice already, haven't we? So, you know, we can go. We certainly go and beat them again. You know what? In the next round, if we drew City again, well, you know, I'd have a go at that as well. I think this is our year. Never mind just get into the final. Be happy with that on a day out. We can actually win this thing.
So do you think Bilic should prioritise Saturday massively? We've got the game on Tuesday. Bilic likes to protect his players, if you want to put it like that, but do you think he should just go full out strength squad on Saturday and then just do what he has to do on Tuesday against Villa?
I think he should play his strongest team possible. I don't think he will, but it's you've got to realise that we're in a very, very different situation now. So not a reserve team, but dipping a few players in who perhaps haven't had regular first team football is very different now than it was a few seasons ago. So actually, do you know what? If he rests Antonio, well, that's fine, because Moses will come in. Maybe he does give Collins a rest, but that's fine because Ogbonna come in. The point is the players coming in and replacing are of a much higher quality, and I still think they'll probably be good enough to do what, as Scott said, is a very, very poor Liverpool team.
Scott, are you confident? What does Bilic do to you? What do you think Bilic should do to get the result at Anfield? They scored 5 last weekend. Does that worry you, or do you think that's just a blip because they were playing Norwich? Let's write it off.
It's just a blip, that. I mean, Norwich, they haven't got the defence we've got. Started the season well, just fell away. We're solid. On our day, we're solid at the back. And you know me, I like my midfield. Midfield played really well in front of them. If we can perform like we did against City, and like we know we can do, like Chris said, we can beat anybody. And it's not often that I've been able to say that about a West Ham squad.
Chris, are you confident then, going up there on Anfield on Saturday? Are you really confident? Do you think we could thump this Liverpool side, essentially, if we played like we did against City?
I think we can. Whether we will thump them is another matter, because I don't think we need to thump them. I think we should almost just beat them 2-0, because, look at what happened when they had to face Naismith, and who's a decent enough little player. But you've got to remember, when we played against Liverpool recently at our place, I was there. I had a fantastic seat in the East Stand, and Payet came on as a substitute, and he was jinking and flicking and nutmegging it past them. Well, if they've struggled against Naismith, just wait until they have to face Payet for 90 minutes, because he really will cause them all sorts of bother. He was the best player on the pitch against City, and I'll tell you something now. We dealt with De Bruyne, Aguero, Silva. Liverpool got nobody like that. So, yeah, I think we're going to go up there and really cause them problems. And don't forget, you know, they're playing midweek, which we're not. Even they're playing against Stoke. So, you know.
Well, it'll be score prediction time in a second. Before I ask them that all-crucial question, do hit the subscribe button while you're here, because we'll be back Saturday night with the halftime live show, as well as our halftime review, and then obviously the preview of the Aston Villa game. And Gonzo will have his rosette up at the weekend as well. Scott, you're confident, I'm confident, Gonzo's confident. Give us your score prediction.
Well, I'm going to the game and we never win when I go and see them, but go on, I'm going to do a Tom. I always say it, we're going to absolutely thump somebody before the season's over. 4-0.
There's all a man on here. Gonzo, score prediction.
Well, Scott is absolutely right. Whenever Scott goes to a game, West Ham don't win. So I'm going up to Yorkshire. I'm going to sabotage his car. I'm going to super glue his front door to the door frame. He won't go, and we'll win 2-0.
I'm going 3-1 as well. If you're on social media, on facebook.com/HammersChat, or on Twitter @Hammers_chat. Remember to hit the subscribe button. For all the team news before the game, do go to claretandhugh.info for all the exclusive team news. And we'll be back on Saturday night. Scott, Gonzo, thank you very much. We've been Hammers Chat.